In 2003, House of the Dead hit theaters, based on the wildly popular arcade shooter that defined an era of zombie-blasting chaos. But instead of embracing the game's lore, atmosphere, or even basic plot structure, the film took a hard left turn and delivered a story with zero meaningful connection to its source material. It's as if the filmmakers skimmed the game's title, shrugged, and said, "Good enough." And the result? A masterclass in how not to make a movie. From the bad acting to the horrendous script writing and the bargain bin production quality, every frame feels like a creative decision gone wrong. Critics tore it apart, fans rejected it, and over time it's earned a reputation as one of the worst, if not the worst, video game movie adaptations ever made. In this deep dive, we're going to break down the behind-the-scenes secrets and hidden details you might have missed about this movie. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The movie was received so poorly by critics that it became known as one of the worst video game adaptations ever made, and the backlash was strong enough to affect its release in some countries. Reviews complained about its weak story, awkward acting, and strange editing choices. The negative response was so overwhelming that cinemas in Denmark decided not to screen the film at all, believing it wasn't worth showing to audiences. The film is known for being the final film to use an old-fashioned turntable technique for creating 360-degree action shots, where a camera rig spins rapidly around the actors to capture the scene from every angle. Although this method could look impressive, it was also extremely dangerous because the camera moved at high speed and passed very close to the performers. Filmmakers eventually realized that the risk of someone being seriously injured or even killed was too great to justify using the technique. After this movie, safer digital methods and more advanced equipment replaced the turntable setup, making this movie the last production to rely on it. During the production, actor Jonathan Cherry suffered a serious accident on only the second day of filming, burning about 30% of his hand. Because the injury required him to wear a bandage for the rest of the shoot, the filmmakers had to adjust the story to make it look intentional rather than accidental. To do this, they later filmed the scene on the bridge where his character injures his hand, giving the audience an in-story reason for the bandage he suddenly appears with. The filmmakers included a total of 32 short clips taken directly from the original arcade game, using them as a kind of visual reference to remind viewers of the movie's gaming roots. 26 of these clips are packed into the long, 10-minute battle scene that takes place in front of the house and inside it, where they appear between shots of the characters fighting zombies. The remaining 6 clips are used earlier in the film as transitions leading up to that big battle, almost like chapter markers that signal a shift in the action. This unusual choice was intended to give the movie a very distinct style, though many viewers found it distracting rather than immersive. During an interview, actress Erica Durant talked about how she felt doing her first nude scene, which takes place while her character goes swimming. She explained that the nudity itself didn't bother her as much as people might think, because for her it was simply about showing her body, something she could mentally distance herself from. What she found far more challenging in her career was a previous acting job, where she had to play a character who is needy and whimsical, a personality very different from her own. She said that role was more embarrassing because it required her to expose her inner emotions and thoughts, which felt much more personal and vulnerable. In comparison, she felt nudity was easier to handle than revealing those deeper parts of herself. Many fans like to think of this movie as a kind of loose prequel to the first House of the Dead game, because the movie's story happens on an island before the famous Quirian Mansion outbreak that starts the game's plot. This timing makes it easy for viewers to imagine the film as an earlier zombie incident in the same universe. However, even though the idea fits neatly, Sega and the official game timeline have never confirmed this connection, and no canonical source states that the movie is truly part of the game's storyline. As a result, the prequel label is more of a fan interpretation than an established fact. The DVD release includes a strange extra, sometimes described as a director's cut, but it isn't a traditional version with new scenes or restored footage. Instead, it opens with a short comedic skit in which director Uwe Boll appears as himself and is kidnapped by a group of people who tie him to a chair. Rather than harming him physically, they punish him by forcing him to watch his own movie, treating the film itself as a form of torture. This tongue-in-cheek intro doesn't change the movie in any way, but it adds a self-aware joke that plays into the film's reputation for being widely criticized. During the rave scene, the Sega logo can be spotted in the background, serving as a small nod to the company behind the original House of the Dead arcade game, released in 1996. Its placement acts like a subtle Easter egg for fans who recognize the connection, reminding viewers that the movie is based on Sega's popular zombie shooting franchise. And that ends this deep dive into 2003's House of the Dead. It's clear that this chaotic, bizarre, and unintentionally hilarious slice of early 2000s horror cinema offers far more to unpack than its reputation suggests. Whether you watch it as a cult oddity, a time capsule of early 2000s horror trends, or simply a so bad it's good spectacle, there's always another layer to peel back. So if you enjoyed diving into these behind-the-scenes quirks and fun facts, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future deep dives into the strange, surprising, and unforgettable corners of film history. Until next time, thanks for watching, stay sharp, and we'll see you in the next one.